Welcome to the bold analysis. The race for the African Union Commission chairperson and tonight's Mjadala Africa has sparked unprecedented interest from Kenya. The competition is heating up, and of course, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the ODM leader, Kenya's and President William Ruto's candidate for the African Union Commission seat, for the African Union Commission chairperson bid, is going to face off with two candidates from Djibouti and Madagascar in a decisive debate dubbed Mjadala Africa, where the candidates are expected to table their plan, their ambition, and the unique issues they're bringing, or rather transformative changes they're bringing on table, why Africa needs to consider them for that seat. Remember, that election will be way later, somewhere in February. This debate is a culmination of stream of campaign by Raila Odinga in West Africa and also other southern part of the continent. I want us to look at the state of that context, and then we look at what is happening in Addis Ababa in terms of preparation. And at the tail end of it, we'll try to explain what exactly should Raila Odinga team consider moving forward, even as they prepare for that debate. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. And I want to say thank you for those who have already subscribed to our channel. We are on journey to 100,000 subscribers, and for us to achieve that, we are 4,900 subscribers shy of the 5,000. We already have 95,100, so we need 4,900. We already have 5,100, so we need 4,900 to achieve 100,000 subscribers target. Kindly subscribe. Subscription is absolutely free. There is no money that is going to be deducted from your account, even if you subscribe in this channel. So kindly make sure you subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell so that we can be able to achieve the best. And of course, we'll be able to get our text. Now, I don't understand. I want us to make the first incident or the first take on the state of the race is this issue of fake polls. UDA is misbehaving, and to be specific, Didym's Baraza is misbehaving because fake polls and posters flooding the scene, many of these have been flagged as malicious and criminal. Kenya has been churning malicious fake polls being flagged across the continent, and Didym's Baraza is exporting what I want to call political bad manners, because South African fact checkers have been flagging some of these fake polls, and it's not really sitting pretty well for the Kenyan candidate. I just want us to look at those polls and the way they have been flagged. I think that was here, so let me just look for it so that we can look at that right away. This is a tweet from Didym's Baraza. Raila Odinga takes early lead. The AUC chairmanship seat is ours for keeps. Mjadala Africa, Raila for Africa. And then they're saying Raila 80%, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf 8%, and then Richard Nandria Mandrato 2%. So even if you add this is around 90%, I'm even wondering where is the other percentage. Now, this tweet has been flagged by some South African fact checkers, Amani Africa. They're saying this is utterly irresponsible. The use of an organization that never undertook a poll is disinformation, misinformation, and maliciously criminal. Amani Africa totally rejects this act and demands immediate withdrawal of use of its logo. So they even used the logo of Amani Africa there, and the Amani Africa have not even done any poll. And this is a very bad, this is really bad manners. We are fond of doing some of these propagandas, but we don't need to export that bad manners to that level. Now look at the continent. Amani Africa also flagged. You remember, there's another story that emerged that South African President Ramaphosa had endorsed Raila Odinga's bid, and it didn't sit well, and the Amani Africa also flagged that as fake news. So that is really a very bad, that is really putting Kenya in a very negative note. Number second aspect, observation on the state of the nation and state of the race, is Ruto flying the Gambian ambassador, Gambian president rather. Gambian President Adama Barrow was the chief guest in Kenya's Jamhuri Day celebration, and he did publicly endorse Raila Odinga. Of course, he didn't publicly endorse Raila Odinga, but there's a video clips that emerged on him endorsing Raila. And Raila Odinga and Nairobi diplomatic team chartered, the state chartered a jet to fly him from Banjul on taxpayers' money, and may also ferry him to Nigeria for the ECOWAS summit as part of alluring him to vote for Raila Odinga. This is believed to be part of Nairobi diplomatic team trying to push the stakes very high for Raila Odinga.
And I wish to announce that Gambia will support the candidature of our brother, Raila Odinga. Mr. President, I thank you also for the hospitality since we arrived in this beautiful city, Nairobi. I'm enjoying my stay, and I promise I'll be back again.
While in Morocco, Raila Odinga mistakenly referred to the monarch as King Hassan of Morocco, prompting the foreign minister to publicly correct him, clarifying it is King Mohammed V. King Hassan passed 2 decades ago, boils down to lack of seasoned diplomats running the show. I have seen the kind of work that Pauline and Njoroge in the communication team are trying to put on Raila's campaign in West Africa, and it is very commendable. It is very commendable. They've been communicating in real time, and they've been communicating they've been trying to project the Raila agenda, especially on the West African tour. If you ask me, the West African tour that Raila Odinga had was a very successful one. But then let's get to Djibouti. And I observed something. Raila arrived in, not Djibouti, in Addis Ababa. Raila arrived in Addis Ababa yesterday in preparation for today's Mjadala Africa, in preparation for that debate. And there are 2 things that happened. While in Addis Ababa, the Djiboutian Prime Minister was hosting a welcoming dinner in Addis Ababa. And during that welcoming dinner in Addis Ababa, he took time to project to the continent his strength of understanding the 3 languages, the French, English, and the Arabic language. He took time, and I want to play for you this video, because this video, they actually released this video, and they're sharing this video. This video has gone viral. I think even some Kenyan politicians have also been sharing it. Those who are against Raila Odinga's bid have also been sharing it, telling the continent how this man has strength of understanding the African language.
Good evening. Allow me to thank each one of you for your presence among us on the occasion of this evening's dinner organized for the candidate of the Republic of Djibouti for the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission.
Après plus de 3 décennies d'action dans les relations internationales et la diplomatie multilatérale, j'ai pensé qu'il était temps pour moi de mettre mon expérience et mes compétences au service de l'Afrique. Pour beaucoup d'entre vous qui êtes accrédités auprès de l'Union africaine, vous connaissez certainement mieux que moi le fonctionnement de la Commission et les méthodes de travail. I do have a clear understanding of what are our priorities and where the new Commission should start. I also know that bureaucratic and administrative hindrances, let alone some irregular practices, will have to be handled properly. أصحاب السعادة السفراء الحضور الكريم، لا يسعني إلا أن أشكركم على تلبيتكم لدعوة حضور هذه الأمسية، وألتمس دعمكم لترشيحي كرئيس مفوضية الاتحاد الإفريقي، آملا أن أكون عند حسن ظنكم، وأعدكم أنني لن أدخر جهدا.
Now, this is a very strategic move. Very strategic move. And in this European minister hosted this welcoming dinner in Addis Ababa, joined by African envoys, including George Orina. George Orina is the Kenya's ambassador to Ethiopia and permanent representative to the AU, was also in attendance there. Every envoy attended. And it is understood that Djibouti ambassador in Ethiopia never attended Raila Odinga's launch. Now, diplomats have argued that Nairobi team might have made a miscalculation by launching, the timing of launching Raila Odinga's bid. The Raila Odinga's bid was launched somewhere at the end of October. In Addis Ababa, if there was a time they would have done it, they would have fixed it at this time. Now, I want you to look at the strategy that the Djibouti candidate has done. He took advantage that the continent and different envoys are trooping to Addis Ababa for the Mjadala Africa. And then he took that time to host a welcoming dinner for himself in Addis Ababa, where he now got the attention of almost majority of envoys in Addis. Raila Odinga's event, Raila Odinga's AUC launch, was not highly attended compared to what the Djibouti candidate has done in Addis now. Now, in contrast to that, I have seen the team around Raila have shared with us this video. 2 videos. One is this video showing Raila Odinga arriving in Addis Ababa, of course in a chartered plane with his team, and they was received at that point. And the reason why this video is being released to the public here is because they want, the government is struggling to convince the members of the public how much they have invested in Raila Odinga. Because remember, Raila was, and I know the reason why this video has to be released. Remember, somewhere in October, I think the end of October, I was in Nyandara by that time, we received intel that Raila Odinga had not received private jet for him to commence his campaigns, African Union Commission campaigns. He had not received that. And so by the time he was arriving in Addis, this was shared to us so that the public can see. Then, in his speech, remember there is that rehearsal, like they were doing rehearsals for the Mjadala, and Raila Odinga made this long speech about his agenda.
Collaboratively to dismantle barriers, foster unity, and pursue excellence. Together, let us harness our collective power to create a future where Africa stands tall on the global stage, an emblem of resilience, creativity, and unity. Let us embark on this journey towards a brighter and more prosperous Africa. Africa is the richest continent on the planet Earth. In terms of strategic raw materials, that has made other parts of the world rich. The paradox is that the richest in terms of resources is also the poorest in terms of living conditions of these people. This is what we need to change so that African people can be rich people. We have been blaming others in the past, but the time for blame game is gone. Now is the time to act as Africans, and we take our destiny in our own hands, and we work collaboratively to uplift the living conditions of African people. There are those people who do not believe that Africa can develop. So they are what we call Afro-pessimists. Afro-pessimists are those who think Africa is a lost cause. But the Afro-pessimists, like myself, are those who believe in the ability of the African people to develop Africa. Africa will not be developed by foreigners coming to Africa. The foreigners will come to invest, not to develop, but to make money. But ultimately, Africa will develop with the brains and energies of the African people. And that's why you've seen the story I tell of the African lion. That African lion is a very resilient animal. And here the African lion is giving a message to the Asian tiger. The African lion is, as you know, in Africa, the lion is a revered animal. The Cameroonian soccer team is called the Indomitable Lions. The Senegalese soccer team is called the Lions of Teranga. The Moroccan national team is called the Atlas Lions. And in East Africa, we call the lion Simba, Mfalme wa Msitu. That the lion is the king of the jungle. When it roars, the other animals listen. So the African lion is giving a message to the Asian tiger. That you, the Asian tiger, you have danced alone on the stage for far too long. I was asleep in the jungles of the Congo. But now I'm awake.
So this has shown, the country have seen how Raila Odinga has prepared. As Nairobi team, in terms of the West African tour, it was very successful, if you ask me. It was very successful, except what happened in Morocco, where it exposed the fact that we did not have a very strong diplomatic team around Raila on this matter. The candidate, Djibouti candidate, is showing the continent his strength as understanding the African, understanding the three languages. I don't know that Raila is, and I don't know that Raila is also going to take that direction. With so many goofs and having looked at that, I think Raila needs to consider some few other factors as he prepares for this debate. And that is what I want to explain. Number one, his speech on transformative vision must not be domiciled on the usual rhetoric. There is a rhetoric that has been said by every speaker. Africa has resources, but is the poorest. The countries where, I don't know, there is dominance and there is this and that. So apart from that, I think that the Africans have heard that story for long. They need to be a little bit too deep in his transformative agenda. Now, I like one thing that Raila have is his Pan-Africanism acumen. And I think that is where he should base his strong point. He should show his international accolade, his international knowledge of the continent, because he really understands the continent. Knowledge of the continent's problems, and how with the spirit of Pan-Africanism, he can turn around things. Peace missions and all this and that. If you look at his odds against the other candidates, is about his understanding of the continent. he has a very historical perspective of what the continent and of what can fix the continent. And that will really be interesting to hear. Language is not his strength. Oh yes. Now that the Djibouti candidates are released and is telling the continent that I'm the best candidate because I understand. I understand all these languages in the continent and I'm the best candidate. Raila Odinga should not strive to impress on that front. Because with the speech challenges, because Raila also has speech challenges, you also need to acknowledge that. He's not, of course, with age, and that he's not as par those other two candidates. So I don't believe that someone should now strive that Raila should speak his German language because he understands Germany, and then he speaks Kiswahili, English, the Luo, German. I don't think we should go that direction. Raila should strive to tailor-made his message to his Pan-Africanism spirit. Lastly, he should resist the temptation to castigate the coups. The discussion about the coups is coming. African Union has locked out even those countries that are doing coups, and that the risk of being expunged from the African Union bloc. So, but contrary to that, there are some ECOWAS, there are some countries in West Africa that are supporting those coups. I remember in Somalia there is that discussion of Somaliland and Somalia. It is very contentious. Raila took a stand on it and it has not worked for it, and it has not worked for him. And even Somalia are believed not to be supporting his candidature. The voting is going to be a secret ballot. I think we must ensure at this point that we avoid such fake propagandas like with the likes of Didmas Baraza, and leave Raila to fight the battle himself. Thank you.